Bargain Barters Part 4, the THICC weapon case, but better. Today we'll be looking at the THICC weapon case and what you should do with yours. Before getting into this, however, I want to point out that I wrote this script before the Lightkeeper event that started at the end of April, but the figures I'll be showing in this video are as of the 3rd of May. The event finished literally today, so prices are still high, but I will try and include the pre-event prices where I can. For those who don't know, there is 3 ways of getting the THICC weapon case. The worst and least value way is to trade it from mechanic level 4, which requires 20 bitcoins and 20 GP coins. The GP coins fluctuate between 35 and 50,000. This is the price currently and before the event. Bitcoins are awkward to get hold of if you don't have a Bitcoin farm, and even then it will take roughly a month to farm all the Bitcoins depending on the amount of GPUs you have. Based on the best case scenario, this would make the GP coins 700,000 in total, and the Bitcoins, assuming their sell value is at 220,000, around 4.4 million, making this trade a total of 5.1 million. But Bitcoins are usually worth a little more. Option 2 is an easier and cheaper trade, which is from Jaeger level 4, and it requires 4 ammo cases, which will cost around 190,000 each, 10 metal spare parts, which are around 15,000 each, and 2 weapon cases, which are currently around 1.3 million if you are using the weapon case trade outlined in my Bargain Barters Part 2 video, making this trade a total of roughly 3.6 million. This might drop to the pre-event pricing again soon, which was just shy of 2.3 million. Option 3, and the most natural and easiest way to obtain this case, is the mid to late game task, depending on your leveling speed, from Prapper called Perfect Mediator. This task requires you to get each trader to max rep, which is a natural part of the game by the time you hit level 42. Bear in mind the other 2 trades also require max trader, so there's a high chance you would complete this task before you'd be able to trade for the other 2. However, you can hit max rep on Mechanic and Jaeger before level 42. The case sells for roughly 13 million post-event, but it is slowly approaching the pre-event flea price of 10 million, so we will use this figure going forward. Best case scenario, the case is worth more and will make you only more profit. Selling this case for 10 million, depending on your intelligence center and flea rep, will likely cost you 1 million in fees, leaving you roughly 9 million in profits. The case itself is a 2x5 slot item, which gives you 90 slots of space for weapons, magazines, ammo, and attachments, meaning this gives you a stash to space ratio of 1 to 9. However, the case can only be stored in your main stash and not inside other cases or backpacks. And this is where we get to the part where we make the THICC weapon case better, by selling it. As I mentioned earlier, you can make about 9 million off this case and then trade 2 THICC weapon cases with some spare change using the 3.6 million trade from Jaeger level 4. Or if prices drop to what they were pre-event, you can get 3 THICC weapon cases and some change. However, I recommend something completely different instead. You can buy an item case for around 2.4 million, and using the weapon case trade outlined in my Bargain Barters 2 video, you can get 3 normal weapon cases for a total of 4 million, which would have cost you 2.2 million pre-event. You will also have extra space for 3 magazine cases and 4 ammo cases, which will cost you 7.2 million total and giving you a ton of more space.
Look at all this more space!
This would have cost you around 6.2 million before the event. So if prices normalize, you will end up with an even bigger chunk of change. This layout, for example, will give you 150 weapon and or attachment slots, 196 slots for ammo, and 147 slots for magazines. Meaning this gives you a stash to extra space ratio of 16 to 493, or in simpler terms, roughly 1 to 30 slot ratio, over the 1 to 9 ratio of the normal THICC weapon case, and some spare change. So at this point I will check the pricing on everything, as everything will change over the next couple of days, and hopefully normalize again, which will mean more profit for you. But even at these high prices currently, you can still get more space and extra cash, which only shows how much better this item case setup compared to the THICC weapon case. That's it for Bargain Barters Part 4, and as always, for more Tarkov guides, please leave us up as there are more Bargain Barters as well as key, task and map guides coming. Nice.